What is going on, guys? Welcome back to the channel. Thank you guys so much for tuning in. We're back in the backyard doing, I guess, one of these backyard talks. I'm not really sure what I'm going to call them or if I'm going to really call them anything, but we're back in the backyard. So um, with this video, I kind of wanted to talk about some of the shift that I've been going through, especially over the last year or two specifically. And I also really wanted to talk about, mainly in this video, the fact that I sold my Rolex. It was one of the most popular videos on my channel. I sold the Wimbledon, and then I actually got a different one, and I sold that one as well, and I never even made a YouTube video about it. So kind of wanted to just talk about that experience a little bit and kind of hopefully, again, just share some of my thoughts behind it and kind of what I've learned and see if that'll maybe help someone else out there. So really, the Rolex was something that I had always wanted, and it was probably, in retrospect, really, it was not even just in retrospect, it was something stupid for me to buy originally, because I didn't have like a ton of money. I had just made my first little bit of money with some real estate, and just because of how I grew up, which I'm going to kind of get into a little bit in this video, um, I always wanted to feel like I was, like worth it, or like valuable or worth something. So when I finally had the opportunity to get a watch like that, I just jumped on it, and I really wanted to have it, wanted to experience it. And I guess to kind of go back to that, I never really felt, when I did get it, I never really felt like 100% comfortable. I don't live in some massive house. I'm not rich. My parents aren't rich. I didn't come from any money. I live in a normal house. So for me, at the time, especially, to have, that much of my net worth just like in a wristwatch didn't really make sense to me. So I never really, I guess, got comfortable really wearing it. And after a while, I decided to sell it and decided to get something that was a little bit more kind of toned down, but it was still a Rolex, and thought that, maybe that would kind of be the difference. And really, I just kind of figured that this is not the season of life for me to have that. It's still something that I want, and I recognize that, but it's something that I'm going to get, later on in life. And really, it just wasn't something that I really should have bought. And I bought it just like some of the other stuff I've bought in my life in like an effort to feel better about myself. I grew up in a pretty poor family. I was the first one in my family to graduate from college. My dad was dyslexic. He barely finished high school. And when I was younger, my parents, we kind of just moved from apartment to apartment. I don't have any siblings. And my parents got divorced when I was about 8. And from my perspective, I didn't really have any support growing up. I was thrown into a private school, which, was kind of like, I guess, a double-edged sword for me, because I got a great education, which was awesome. But the other side of that, so going to that school was kind of like a double-edged sword. Again, I got a great education, which was, really important, obviously. But the other side of that was my parents couldn't afford to send me to that school. I only went to that school because my mom worked there, and that was kind of like a perk of her job. So growing up, I was, to my knowledge at least, kind of like, I think, the poorest kid, at least that I knew of, that I was around, or in my school or in my grade. So when I was growing up, going to these other kids' houses and seeing the way that these other people lived was like really mind blowing to me. They had big houses, finished basements, multiple nice cars, went on family vacations and ski trips and all of this stuff. And my family didn't do any of that. And my parents got divorced when I was younger, and I moved in with my mom, and it was just like kind of constant struggle. And then my parents, they used to try to spend basically all of my dad's extra money when they were together, even when they weren't, with him and his inventions. And that never worked. That never turned into anything. And then when I was 26, and my dad told me about this for years when I was younger, but when I was 26, my dad decided to end his life, and he did that in my old home in Baltimore. And I wasn't left like a big inheritance or anything like that. And I moved out to Colorado after I graduated from college and tried to start my life, and got into my photography business, and then got into real estate. And then when I had the opportunity to finally get a watch like that, I kind of just, jumped on it. And it wasn't, again, not the right season for me. It is something that I want, and maybe that's something that will resonate with you guys, where, at least at this point in my life, I'm getting more and more kind of away from really needing anything. I don't really have anything material at this point. I mean, I've had a chance to, drive some fun cars and have some nice things, but that's not really what drives me anymore. I really enjoy peaceful days in my backyard. I'm really hoping that this YouTube channel can actually continue to grow. So if you're still watching this, thank you. I really do appreciate it. And for me, that's kind of what really, I guess, just kind of set off a kind of different line of thinking for me in terms of me not needing the watch and me not needing really anything like that. And later on in life, when I have more money or I'm closer to retirement or something like that, then absolutely, it's something that I want to get and I want to enjoy. But I want it to feel comfortable and I want it to feel good and I want it to feel like happy for me. And until it does those things, I don't know, if it's the right time. So that's really, I guess, what it comes down to in terms of why I sold my Rolex, and I don't regret it. I've never regretted it a day since I sold it. Put that money in my savings account and kind of just continued to live life, like just is what it is. So in the future, I'll get one, but right now that's not really my priority. And I'm sorry if it looks a little cold. I probably should be, if I look a little cold, I should probably be wearing a jacket. I'm getting a little bit cold out here filming this video, but um, overall, I mean, I really, again, that's pretty much, I guess, my message of this video is that, a lot of the material stuff that you see other people have when you're growing up doesn't matter. And even if it does, those people are in different situations than you. Like, my parents couldn't afford any of that stuff. My parents couldn't afford those nice cars. My parents couldn't afford those nice vacations. My dad could never have dreamed of having a Rolex. So for me, just to kind of get to the other side of some of those thoughts and, obtain some of those things and see that that's, not really where the most value in my life lies was really important for me. So hopefully this was helpful for you. If it was, toss a like. If you feel like it, toss a sub to the channel. Would super appreciate that as well. And I guess that's it. But until next time, peace, guys.